The secret to being married for 51 years is learning to grow together. We have our own separate ways of doing things, and we have our own things that we do, but we're still partners all the way, whether it's recycling or building our own home or gardening. We do it together.
She said it. I guess I've always recycled. I was raised by parents who went through the recession, and you didn't waste stuff. My grandmother made some of my clothes from the bags that the chicken feed came in. We just were raised that you don't waste things, that you try to make things reusable.
I was online and saw a quick ad about recycling these ring carriers. And then I immediately copied it and sent it to David. So David ended up contacting them about it. He likes to write.
I like to write. I like to write letters to people who've done things really well, and this really impressed me. It just made it so much simpler, and I wanted to encourage them to continue to do things like that.
It was nice having a place to send them and knowing that someone was going to do something about them, and getting a label to print off and send them back. They would pay for the shipping. All you had to do is save them. All you had to do is put them in an envelope, walk them to your mailbox. If you saved enough, like we do, you could send them in a box, and it didn't cost us a penny.
We are excited about a lot of the letters and support we're getting from consumers. It tells us that we're making the right investments and doing the right things. Hi-Cone is a leading provider of multi-pack systems for the beverage industry worldwide. So prioritization around making sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to protect the environment is critically important and should be at the forefront of our thought process. Recycling has been this black box. We put them in this bin and then we don't know what happens, and then we hear that it doesn't get recycled because of contamination. So demystifying that for consumers is going to be important, and building infrastructure that values the return of that material is also important. The ringrecycleme.com program is simple. The consumer knows the material, they know where it's going, and they know where it's going to show up again, which is back into another ring carrier that's got post-consumer recycled content in it. It's a cycle and a circle that certainly makes sense to consumers.
Avangard Innovative's role is really focused on the waste and recycling piece. We work together with Hi-Cone to really have a total solution for circular economy. There's a perception that plastics are bad. Plastic is misunderstood. Because if you really think about it, in all industries, in medical, in food processing, when we talk about world health issues that we're just epidemic, it's happening. Plastics can help us tremendously. But what do we do end of life? If we look at the carrier ring, it's a perfect example of how a product can be in circular economy. You start at the shelf, goes to the consumer. The consumer has the ability to mail it in or bring it back to a store to be captured. We track that with technology. It goes back to our manufacturing facility. Once we get it back in our process, the first thing we do is we shred. Then we sort it through optical sorters and getting out all the impurities. The next thing we do is we pre-wash it, and we make it to a product that's 75% less carbon footprint that goes right back into making that carrier ring, right back to the shelf, right back to the consumer, and doing it all over and over again.
I had the privilege of interviewing a few people who wanted to join the organization, and in their pre-reads and in their research, they thought from our material and from our website that we were a sustainable company that happened to do packaging. Not a packaging company that was trying to be sustainable, but a company that was driven around sustainability that happens to do packaging. And that's exactly how we want to come across.
Right after I retired, I started trying to teach people about recycling, that you can't just constantly take without giving back.
Education is absolutely a must. because you want them to then turn around and tell 2 other people, and then them tell 2 other people. And before you know it, you've got a whole village of people that are working toward it. Again, it's doing things together. You've got to learn to do things together.